Yes, people, I'd say, and thank you so much for taking the time once again to watch one of my videos. I could talk about Iran, but I've been doing that for a couple of weeks now. And yes, it is still a hellhole, thanks to the orange baboon and the monster from Israel. But I thought this week I might discuss a video that I watched recently. And many of you may also have watched this video. And if you haven't, and this is the first time, then you're in for a treat. Now, it's by a Green politician, Mothin Ali, who's the deputy leader of the Green Party. I know Zach's been smashing it at the moment, and a lot of the spotlight's on him, and rightly so. But there's obviously other guys in the Green Party that also deserve a little bit of the spotlight, and Mothin is definitely one of those guys. Now, generally, I'm kind of turned off by this kind of video. It's kind of like a story of their lives, and it's about working, really sort of pushing the working class narrative. Now, when it's a white person doing this, I am very much turned off, only because it's my background and my culture, and I've heard it a million times, and it's sometimes you just think, okay, I see what you're doing, but it feels a bit contrived. This one doesn't. Obviously, Mothin, when you see Mothin Ali, you don't necessarily think that he's a good old Sheffield lad, and I think that's fantastic. Now, it doesn't actually matter what you sound; it doesn't matter if you speak English. It really doesn't matter. But I always love it when you see somebody and you might think, oh, when they're about to speak, you think, oh, you might wonder if they've got a bit of an accent, and they've got this really strong sort of British accent, which Martin's got, and it just endears me a little bit. It's just a little personal thing, but again, it's not important. It's just quite endearing to myself. So let's have a watch at Mothin's video. It's only short. It's about 3.5 minutes long. It's just about an incident that happened to him, a horrible incident. And instead of kicking off and going on social media and saying people are horrible and all that, he took a different approach, and one that I think's a really fantastic way of sort of dealing with a situation. And I would love to think that the person who was racist towards Mothin gets to see this video, and I'd love to know their perspective after it. So without further ado, let's have a quick look at this.
So I was in London the other day, and this bloke, he comes right up to me. He says, why don't you F off back to where you came from? And you know what? I thought, I will. So I came back here to Sheffield. So I've got some brilliant memories of this place. Nid Road, the street I grew up on. Our little gang would be running around everywhere making noise, and someone's mum would always be telling us off to keep it down, because half the street was asleep after working nights at the foundry. Everyone worked there, my dad too. He was a crane driver. Now, for a Bengali man back then, to become a crane driver, that was something. And you could see it from here, shifting massive rolls of steel across the Sheffield sky. My mum used to make the same walk every day, carrying his dinner in a tiffin tin. And he worked just here. And he'd be sitting here on a crate. Bengalis, Pakistanis, Jamaicans, white guys, all together, laughing, joking, telling stories. And yeah, there was racism back then.
Yeah, so obviously Mothin there, he's casually said, and yeah, there was racism back then. Listen, we know it was horrendous racism. That the first generation, West Indies, Bengalis, Indians, what they went through, guys, it just shows their character, really, that they were still able to, work hard, try and integrate into communities, take up working class jobs. And it just shows, the working class, it's not a white culture. It is a working culture around certain industries, certain ways of thinking, certain housing. Those streets in Sheffield, exactly as that what I was brought up in North Manchester. Working class culture is colourless. Yeah, it's an experience that we have growing up, and it's just great to hear. It's great to hear Mothin talk about this and the way that he's analysed that incident and thought, I'm going to go back to Sheffield and speak about it through this sort of lens. Fantastic.
But there was something else. So my dad had this old tin, and it had all his bits and bobs in it. You know, postcards, pictures, banners. And it had this one picture of a trade union banner. And it had this black man and a white man. And they were all lifting this heavy chain together. And it had some words underneath. But I didn't really know what it meant back then. But for some reason, I'm thinking about that today. And suddenly it was all gone. Dad got too ill to work. And this place shut down shortly after. But it wasn't just us going down. You feel the whole community going to a slump. Men with nothing to do. Mums crying over bills. Everywhere you looked, someone was being left behind. Mill towns, pit towns, steel towns, even the dockers in London. Back then, some said Mrs. Thatcher wanted to teach us a lesson. Now, I don't know what that lesson was, but what I do know is once it started, we never really got over it.
Yeah, so obviously we know what that lesson was. It was a rise in neoliberalism, you know, Thatcherism. Horrendous time economically, especially for northern towns in the UK in the 80s and 90s. And Muffin is talking about it again, just like any other working class man. The experience is the same. It is not about colour. It is not about religion. It's about where your place is within capitalism, you know. And Muffin is saying it like my uncles used to talk about it, you know, like family members, and you know, it's fantastic. Again, it's fantastic to see this perspective from an Asian man who's obviously, you know, Muslim, you know, religious, but the experience is the same, guys. And what Mothin is trying to show is that when this guy told him to go back to where you belong or where you came from, the working class come from working class areas everywhere in the world. Yeah. It's culturally the same. It doesn't matter about the country. And Muffin, it just so happens, comes from Sheffield.
But now we're back. We're back there again. Everyone's angry and they're looking for someone to blame. That man in London, when he saw me, all he saw was my beard, my dopey, my brown skin. Like it was me to blame. All he saw was our differences. So I get why we had to come back here. To remember what we'd lost. It wasn't just the work or the factories. It was something else. And it's that picture in my dad's scrapbook. Because back then, when someone like me and that guy in London, when we saw each other, yes, we saw our differences, but we also saw something else. We saw those chains. Chains of hardship and debt. And we knew that the only way we'd ever lift them was together, side by side. How is it that in a country of almost 70 million people, that there's so many of us that feel so isolated, divided, and powerless? It's time to see past those differences and remember what connects us. Because that's where our strength lies, in each other. When we realise that, that's when change happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a new message, but it's delivered fantastic. You know, we are so divided, and yet from a technological perspective, we're also so connected. It's a really strange paradox, but we need to really see past the bullshit, guys. And I really hope that video has opened a few eyes for people that still cannot see a working class that's not white. It's colourless, guys. Listen to what Muffin is saying. Listen to his experience. It's the same experience that you've had. It's the same experience that your parents, your uncles, your aunties have had. Yeah, it's little towns, terrace streets, what we watch, what we listen to, what we talk about, you know, the economics. It's all related, guys. And today there's a massive far right march in London. I believe the anti-fascist march has been an amazing turnout as well. I hope that's true. I'm sure it is. But these people that are angry, they're angry about the wrong thing, guys. They really are. So I really hope that this video gets shared far and wide, not just mine, but the video itself, because I think a lot of people will see this and they'll have their eyes open a little bit. And I think it's such a fantastic video that Mothin's done there. A really great way, a really great character to sort of take that kind of experience and go back to where he is from, which is Sheffield, and sort of reanalyze how people can get angry, through economic deprivation, through bad policy making, through manipulation, through far right narratives and sound bites. And don't get used, guys. Do not get used by the far right. These clowns have got nothing to offer but hatred and division. Believe you me. Yeah, what we need cohesion, we need unity, we need to come together, as Mothin said there, and start demanding rights and for working class communities, regardless of colour, regardless of religion. Those things do not matter when we're all getting rinsed by the upper classes, the corporations, and tech billionaires. We really do now need to refocus our minds, get a little bit more class consciousness, something that's just gone out of fashion, guys. But without class consciousness, we are literally, we're done for, guys. We've got to get it back. So thank you so much to Mothin. Great video. Seems like a super sound guy. I'm going to keep a close eye on him. I wish him all the best. I hope he does great things within the Green Party. And, guys, a little bit of hope there, and have a great week.